Welcome back, family. Here we are back on Stellarium, and we are going to get back to Escape of the Bride Decode, and this is going to be part 7.1. Forgive me for the delays in getting back to this, but I have been dealing with some hospital stuff and taking care of a friend. It's been very, very difficult. But what I just found is absolutely amazing, and I meant to get to this last week, but again, I just haven't had the time. So we're doing our best to catch up with the Escape of the Bride and doing the decode in the heavens to determine the escape. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to refresh on our last video for the Escape of the Bride. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is those 6 months of myrrh and the 6 months of sweet perfumes. If you remember in the last video on March the 9th of 2016, you had the beginning of the 6 months of myrrh, and then September the 1st of 2016, you had the end of the 6 months of myrrh and the beginning of the 6 months of sweet perfumes. And then on 2/26/2017, we had the end of the 6 months of sweet perfumes. And so what I did is, if you remember in the last video, we've been talking about how because we're talking about the bride, we're looking at the moon, and we're looking at the moon cycles, and this 6 months of myrrh and 6 months of sweet perfumes is on a lunar cycle. So we've been tracking the lunar cycle for that. And so what I did is I went back to February the 26th, 2017. Let's go ahead and pull that up here. So you can see here, February 26, 2017 on the Hebrew calendar is Shavat 30 in the year 577. So what I did this year is I pulled up Shavat 30 for 2024, and lo and behold, we are looking at February the 9th. And there's a couple reasons why that is really important for us. If you've been following me for a while, then you know about the white rabbit. And so with the white rabbit, we're looking at the year of the rabbit. And it just so happens that February 10th is the beginning of the year of the dragon. And so February 9th would be the very last day of the year of the rabbit. And that is pointing us to the escape. If you've watched my breakdown of the iPet Goat 2 video, where Lily is being presented in the middle of the video, and we did a decode, and we show that there are certain signs in the mazzaroth that aligned with I believe it was December the 26th and December the 27th in 2023, and then we followed those codes that took us to the 11th of January, and then we found all those connections to the blood moons and the solar eclipses. If you watched the video that I shared from Exalted Lamb 1, then you will see all of those connections and how they connect to my calendar with the 24th day of the ninth month being on January of the 11th. Well, all of those signs have to do with the bride, and so we have been tracking the bride signs. I've actually been doing it for over 5 years on Stellarium, and you can go back to my Kodesh Culture channel and go all the way to the very beginning, and you'll see that I was given a mission to present the bride and the bridegroom. And I did a lot of work on the ancient Israelite wedding customs and all of the signs for years associated with the bride. And so I am continuing that work. And so what we see here is based on a lunar cycle. We're looking at the end of this 6 months of Myrrh and the 6 months of sweet perfumes being that first year of preparation, and then we have 7 years added to that. And so if we look at it from a Gregorian standpoint, then it would have put us off until February the 26th of 2024. And I saw things that were happening right now in the Mazzaroth that were speaking a language that it seems to be a event that could potentially be closer. And especially if you've seen my community posts with the signs that I presented for the 7th, there is a lot of signs that are coming up in the next couple days that really are screaming to us from the heavens that we need to look up. And so I wanted to look a little deeper into Stellarium and see if there's something that I could find that was associated with a bride sign. And so what I found here on Stellarium on February the 8th, late in the day, this would actually be considered the 9th, from in a Hebrew Israelite perspective, as sunset begins the day. And so we're looking at this actually being the following day to 9, and that aligns with what we're looking for. And so we want to scroll in a little closer. We're here in the constellation of Capricornus, and what we see is the moon and Mercury entering the temple at the exact same time. And for those of you who have been with me for a while, you know that Mercury is the messenger, and I associate that with the Archangel Gabriel, who was the messenger angel. And so this has always been a message. Whenever I see Mercury, I associate that with the message. And so what we're seeing here is a message to the bride. And they are entering into the temple. We can see here that there is a pyramid here, and there is a pyramid here. This part of Capricorn has always been known as the sacrificial chamber, and you can see this with the front part of Capricorn being the sacrificial goat, and the end part of Capricorn being the resurrected fish. It's back to life. And you can go to multiple different Mazzaroth websites, and you can do some deeper research, and you will see that there's a variety of different presentations that excuse me, fam. What this is showing to me is that the moon and Mercury, we can see here that the sun is in Capricorn also. We can see that the bride and the message are entering into the location of where the sacrifice of the son, who's the bridegroom, is. And this, to me, was like Mercury was bringing the bride into the temple to meet up with the bridegroom. And that has powerful language for the heavens, and so I wanted to bring this to the body. We're going to come back in another video, and we are going to break down the 6 months of Myrrh and the 6 months of sweet perfumes for the second bride. And so if you watched my last video, you know that we're presenting the brides of Jacob. So we're looking at the codes for Leah, and we're looking at the codes for Rachel. And so there was 7 years for Leah and 7 years for Rachel, and we have finished the 7 years for Leah coming up on February the 9th. Thanks for visiting, family. We are going to come back and break that rest down in another video. This will be part 7.1. Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming.